Well, hi everyone and welcome. I'm Maureen Fitzgerald from the Long Island Herald and Richner Live, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for today's free webinar, Power Smarter Energy Decisions with PSEG Long Island. We're proud to work closely with PSEG Long Island, not only on smart energy solutions like the one we're talking about today, but also through powerful local initiatives like the Long Island Choice Awards, which celebrate the hardworking businesses that make our communities stronger. Whether you're a resident of one of our 25 plus newspaper communities, or running a bakery, a barbershop, a tech startup, energy costs and operational efficiency are challenges we all face. And that's why today's session is so important. We'll focus on how PSEG Long Island can help you make smarter energy decisions so you can manage costs with confidence. During today's webinar, you'll learn how to better understand your energy use, including why your bill can change and where your electricity is really going, and how tools like smart meters, my energy, time of day rates can help you manage when and how to use your energy with simple changes that add up, and what programs, resources, and support PSEG Long Island offers, from energy assessments to assistant programs to help homes and businesses save while maintaining reliable services. We'll close with a Q&A, so feel free to submit questions at any time during the session. A few quick housekeeping notes before we begin. The webinar is being recorded and everyone who's registered will receive the replay, and you can submit questions at any time with the Q&A or chat function, and we'll address as many as possible at the end. So without further ado, I'm joined today by Lou DeBrino, Vice President of Customer Operations at PSEG Long Island. Lou, thank you for being with us, and feel free to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Maureen, and thank you for having me. Looking forward to this morning's conversation. So, as Maureen said, my name is Lou DeBrino. I am Vice President of Customer Operations at PSEG Long Island. I've been with PSEG Long Island and the predecessor utilities, electric utilities, for almost 36 years now. So a lot of time in this utility
A lot
space
of
here on Long Island.
experience.
So happy to share some of that this morning.
Great. I know PSEG always likes to kick things off with important safety message, so I'll take that one, and then I'll let you dive in. So safety, PSEG Long Island's top priority, and when it comes to overhead power lines, awareness is critical. Always look up and know how close you are to work in the power lines. And if you or a contractor will be working within 10 feet, the 10-10 rule requires contacting PSEG Long Island at least 10 workdays in advance so lines can be de-energized or relocated if needed. That same distance applies to vehicles, ladders, equipment, which is why using a spotter and handling long objects carefully is so important. And for planned work near power lines, customers should contact PSEG Long Island's Building and Renovation Service team. For electric emergencies, support is available 24/7. All right, on that note, let's transition to the PSEG Long Island's mission and commitment to the communities it serves.
Okay, so thank you, Maureen. And certainly, as Maureen said, safety is of utmost importance to PSEG Long Island and everything we do. And you can see it front and center in our mission statement, right? So we're looking to our mission is to build an industry-leading electric service company that places safety first in all we do. And then we focus on, as we serve our customers across Long Island and the Rockaways, providing best-in-class electric reliability and storm response, making sure we provide opportunities for energy efficiency and renewables, and we'll speak to a lot of that this morning, excellent customer service, and local caring and committed employees dedicated to giving back to the communities that we live and work in. Right? So we've got 2,500 employees who support our mission day in and day out across Long Island, all Long Island residents for the most part. And as I said in our mission statement, we are committed to giving back to the communities that we do serve. Just see a note down there. We were named #1 in the East region for small business electric service by J.D. Power in the most recent survey results from 2025. So something that we're very proud of, and something that we like to link back to our commitment to providing excellent customer service to our customers.
Fantastic. All right, let's hit up the next slide and really dive in here.
Okay, so just to start off, as I said this morning, we wanted to speak about helping our customers understand their energy use, understanding opportunities to save money and to operate more efficiently. One of the big focuses of PSEG Long Island is certainly on affordability and what we can do to help our customers manage their energy costs day in and day out. So we thought we'd start off with just a few common questions and maybe misconceptions about energy and energy charges on Long Island. And then I'll transition into speaking in a little more detail about some of these going forward. So first, why does my bill change from month to month? So certainly there are a lot of things that influence our energy bills, our electric bills, month after month. Sometimes it's something as simple as how many days are in the month, right? Certainly the days that have 31 days versus the shorter February months, you would expect that the electric bill would be influenced by that, right? The number of days. We also have the time of year, right? So weather does impact or influence how much energy we use, what we spend it on. Certainly during the summer months, there's a lot of what the charges go toward is air conditioning usage, pool pumps, dehumidifiers, right? Certain things that may not be present throughout the rest of the year, right? You're certainly not going to see those similar types of devices operating during the winter months, so they will impact the bill we see. And then one of the big pieces of our bill is if you look at it, about half of the bill is the service charge, right? So what it costs us to deliver and maintain the lines and provide the programs and things that we do. But the other half is the cost to produce that. And this is something that's a little less, a little more out of our control, right? We need to procure electricity to be able to supply our customers day in and day out. And a lot of that is influenced by the market, right? What does it cost to get that? What are gas prices or oil prices doing? And how does that then translate to the cost for us to get that energy to be able to deliver to our customers? So that certainly does have an impact. And, of late, I think we do know that prices have increased, especially on the supply side. And we then need to take that into account when we do bill our customers. That's a pass through to our customers, PSEG Long Island Light, but we don't make money off of that part. But it does reflect what it costs us to procure that energy to be able to supply it. Second question, time of day, right? This is something that's very new to our customers over the last year, and I'll speak more to it as we go forward. Time of day more expensive. So these are rates where we actually charge based on the time of day, and that is a reflection of what it costs for us to procure energy, right? So certain times of the day, certain times of the year, it does cost more. And our day rate, as you'll see, between the hours of 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. every day, the rates are more expensive than the remaining 20 hours of the day and the weekends, right? Those are our standard time outside the higher time of day use. And we do provide opportunities for customers who can shift energy to those off-peak times to actually save money on their energy bill.
And we're going to really
Um,
dive into that in a few
yeah,
slides
we
too.
will. And as I
Yeah.
said, rather than go to the next one, do I need to change my routine to saving? I'll speak to that when we get to one of the slides a little further in the
Right.
presentation. Am I charged more for basic household use during peak periods? Again, that gets back to when you can use your energy, when you can shift, what opportunities you have. But the way that that rate is structured is yes, and any energy that you use during those Monday to Friday, 3 to 7 p.m., you will be charged a higher rate than the other non-peak hours.
Hmm.
Why does summer usage look higher? And I touched upon that a little earlier, right? So certainly the types of air conditioning, pool pumps, dehumidifiers are big energy users in the summer. And how can I better understand where my energy is going, right? So part of this is really helping our customers understand where they're using energy so they can make more and better informed decisions about how they can control their costs. And I'll talk to some of the tools that are available as we move forward in the presentation.
Great. Yeah, I think all these questions are things that people have in mind. We actually are even getting some questions in the chat already, so I'm looking forward to hitting those. We'll hit those towards the end, so please, hang tight. But yeah, energy is one thing, but having tools to manage it is another. So let's get to the next slide where you guys have an app, online tools.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, right, one of the things that we like to do or we aim to do is provide customers access to information that can help them make these decisions. So, one of the things that's really enabled that is over the past few years, we did roll out automated metering across our service territory. So now all our residential customers have AMI, that's the acronym for automated metering infrastructure. But what this allows us to do is we get information about energy use every 15 minutes. And that allows us to then share that forward with customers. So it allows them to be more informed. It allows access to information as to where they're using energy, when they're using energy, things that were not possible when we had the more traditional
Yeah,
meters
this
that we
is
ran
very
once a
cool.
month. So this has really been a game changer, not only with the way we communicate with customers and provide information about making these choices, but also the way we operate the system as well, right? We've got access to real-time information. We learn when customers' lights go out. Immediately we get notifications as to, are their lights out, are lights on, et cetera. So we've taken a lot of this data and we've incorporated them into the tools, as Maureen started to allude to. We do have a My Account app which you can certainly access and download that app. And when you sign into that, you have access to information not only about your bill, but you have the ability to see where you're using your energy, when you're using your energy. We have comparison tools that allow you to compare what your bill might be on one rate versus another. Just easily, you can just kind of click through and see that. We provide comparisons month over month, over year. So you can get some sense in terms of, you know, are your energy patterns changing or are the things you're doing working to maybe move you to be more efficient? Have you adopted new technologies that maybe have reduced the energy use and so on and so forth? So I do encourage everybody to visit. As I said, we've got My Account on the web, we've got a mobile app. We've got
Mhm.
many other digital tools that not only help you access and learn about your information, but we've got many ways to pay your bill, right, digitally. You can pay, as I said, on the two that I mentioned prior, or you can text to pay. We've auto pay, we've got guest pay and self-service kiosks that if you're not, one who likes to use digital tools, we've got 5 of those located throughout the island where you can physically show up and pay your bill through a kiosk. Western Union, you can pay by phone, pay by mail. So many, many options. And what we try to do is really understand, we know we've got 1.3 million customers across Long Island, and not everybody likes to transact and access their
Mhm.
information the same way. So by providing these various platforms, we do give our customers choices and choices that meet the way that they want to interact with us.
Very accessible. And I will say PSEG Long Island's response time is unbelievable. When lines are down, you get a text right away. So it's really obvious that the customer is first here. And you have so many access points, which is so appreciated by the customer. So like what insight maybe is a surprise for customers once they start using this My Energy?
Yeah, I think, the insight really is getting that visibility to where you're using your energy, right? I think people don't always understand all the things, right, that the electric is powering. Certainly, we rely on electricity day in and day out. It's such a big part of our life and becoming even more so now, right, as people have shifted to, whether it's computer use, whether it's working from home, right? And you need that power to be there if you're
Yeah.
home. So I think when customers access our tools, we're able to give them a pretty accurate breakdown of where their energy dollar is going, right? How much is going to lighting, how much is going to cooling, refrigeration, you name it. And I think it does two things. One, I think it gives some perspective about all the things that the electric is powering day in and day out, right? And then it also shows you, well, where is that being used, and what are the big the big users of energy versus those that may not be,
Right. So you
and
can adjust.
having that
Yeah.
information, I think is paramount to be able to taking a step back and putting together a strategy to lower your energy use going forward.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Next slide. This is, I believe, the affordability. Yes, affordability is always top of mind for many Long Islanders. We said that earlier. So let's focus on the value to your customers, highlighting several of the programs designed to help customers save money and manage energy use.
Right, absolutely right. So affordability is the big focus. Now more than ever, we
Right.
recognize it's important. We understand how important electricity is in our customers' lives. We also understand the impact of cost. So we do focus, day in, day out on ways to help our customers reduce energy costs, right? We want to be as small a burden as we can. So yeah, I'll touch on some of the things that are out there. We talked a little earlier, and I'll start from the bottom about time of day rates. So, as I mentioned, this is something that's very new. We used to have one standard rate, it was a flat rate where customers paid this pretty much the same amount every hour that they used energy. And one of the things that we have heard from our customers is they want choice. They want choice of rates. And this was a great opportunity for us to really align the cost of energy with what it costs for us to get that energy at that particular time of the day. So as I mentioned earlier, between the hours of 3 and 7 p.m., that's when it's most expensive for us to provide electricity to our customers. So we've modeled this rate on that cost. And the whole thought process here is by lowering the cost and the hours outside that and working with our customers to potentially shift energy to those off-peak periods, it not only lowers our cost of providing the energy, but by doing so, it helps customers lower their energy bill. So there are many things that customers can do to operate outside those hours. As I said, it's only 4 hours a day, and it's Monday through Friday. It's not the weekends, but the other 20 hours a day, holidays, weekends, any energy that is consumed during those hours is now at a rate lower than what they had been paying under the standard rate, and certainly lower than what is the charge during the peak rates. So things customers can do, and I know we do a lot to try to communicate out and help customers, have strategies to do that. Simple things like doing your laundry outside those hours, or if you have an electric vehicle, charge on the overnight. We actually have another time of day rate that is very focused on customers who have electric vehicles, provides a very low cost, from that overnight hours, where if customers get in the routine of plugging their vehicles in and charging them, they'll see substantial savings in their energy costs.
That's a good tip.
Pre-cooling homes. There's many things, as I
Running
said,
the
we've
dishwasher outside of 3 to 7. Yeah.
right. So it's just, again, getting customers that information, showing them what they can do, and then working with them to incorporate those behavioral changes so that they can have the opportunity to save.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, it's only 4 hours. A lot of people are coming home, 6 to 7 too. So it doesn't seem like an impossible adjustment. And worth noting and calling out and saying like these are the prime hours. Like, let's see what we can do outside of those. What is the easiest first step for someone who's never taken advantage of any of the energy efficiencies or assistant programs?
Yeah, so I think energy efficiency again is a big offering we have, right? And helping our customers. Really, again, it gets back to first understanding opportunities. So one of the services that we do offer are free home energy audits, and customers can sign up for these audits. We will have a professional come to your house. We'll do a walkthrough. We will work to identify areas of improvement. So whether it's appliances, inefficient appliances, whether it's weatherization measures, but we'll really give a thorough overview of what is specific to the customer's home or business that they can do to be more energy efficient. And then what we'll do, right? It's a free service.
Right.
In
And
certain
it's only
cases,
like an hour of your time, really, you say?
yes, it's
Yeah.
quick, right? It's an investment though that once you do that, I think it opens the door to many other things. We have rebates for certain appliances or equipment that you can then high efficiency equipment, that comes out of that. In certain cases, based on income eligibility and towards some of our lower income customers, while they do the audit, at times they will provide different measures, whether it's weatherization measures, whether it's programmable thermostats, light bulbs, et cetera. Some of that stuff, again, if you meet certain income eligibility requirements, will be provided during the time of the audit itself, which is a great first start to
Mhm.
saving energy.
Yeah, when we bought our house 10 years ago, we took advantage of a lot of the rebates. We did the solar and insulation. There were different things that we just improved in our home, and they went a long way, those rebates.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the rebates that we offer will change from time to time based on where the industry is going, what's available. A lot of focus, now still in the electric heat pump arena, in the electric vehicles, solar, et cetera. So I just encourage customers to visit our website at www.psegli.com. And if you go through to the energy efficiency section, you can see firsthand, the types of rebates and services that are available in this space.
I love
Some
the
of the other,
idea of a digital
I'm sorry.
thermostat. Digital thermostat. I don't have that in my house, but that's so smart. You could program it not being home.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. The programmable thermostat is probably one of the easiest things, right? It's because once you have it, you've got the ability to kind of set it and forget it, right? You program it to whatever works for you, and then it takes care of itself, right? You don't have to be there constantly looking and moving the dial, etc. So definitely
Yeah.
something to encourage that our customers take advantage of. We have an online store where very often customers can visit there and get really discounts on programmable thermostats. I know is one key item that we do offer pretty regularly at a low cost. So again, customers can find
Oh, I
that through
love
it.
that.
Yeah. And
So
the last thing I'm
yeah,
sorry, I'll
oh, go
touch on
ahead.
here, right, is we do have programs that are targeted to help our lower income customers, maybe those that are payment troubled, et cetera. So we offer different bill credits and household assistance programs. As I mentioned earlier, we offer certain additional upgrades during the audit. There we can work on customers who may be having payment problems through payment agreements, et cetera. So a lot of stuff in that space. We've got consumer advocates that work for the company that will sit with customers that might find themselves in a difficult situation and try to put together strategies and offerings that we have to help them, make it through those difficult times.
Yeah, that's a good note to point out. So let's get the next slide's about the time of day. I know that it was a big change, a big initiative for you all last year and all our customers. And so you finished migrating all the residential customers to this time of day rates. And yeah, I mean, I think it would be really valuable to dive in. We actually have a question in the chat about solar panels and how they play into this. So let's run through the slides and then we can get to some of those questions.
Okay, so just as I had said earlier, basically the time of day rate is a new rate. So over the last year and a half, we've migrated all of our eligible residential customers to these rates. We have peak and off-peak periods. The peak period 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays. All other hours, as I mentioned, weekends, the 20 hours of the weekdays, and then all holidays are at that lower cost. And you know, we charge customers or the rate that's charged is reflective of what it costs to procure the energy during those times. As you would think through from a demand perspective, if you've got a lot of people looking for a product during a particular time, those peak periods, right? It does just put upward pressure on getting that energy, and therefore, anything we can do to sort of levelize when customers use energy and push it to those off-peak or less costly periods, we're able to pass those savings on to our customers. So it's as I said, another option to help customers save money. In many cases, customers can just make small behavioral changes and start to see the benefits of these. And our customers, as we rolled out this rate last year and into the end of last year, I think we finished in December, customers are given guaranteed bill protection for 1 year. So once you're on the program, we encourage customers to stay on the program, to experiment with it, to learn from it, to try to shift energy. And, worst case, at the end of the 12 months, if you did not do as well under this program, you have a guaranteed bill protection where we will refund you the overage of what it cost you to be on TOD. So again, it's meant to be a learning curve for customers. We want to give them time
Yeah.
to experiment, to make those changes, because in many cases you do need to make slight changes to benefit from it. But it's changes that I believe are not overburdening, and once you do make them, they become part of your daily routine, and then you're able to benefit from that point forward.
Right. It sounds more complicated than it really is. It's just adjusting some of your habits for the most
Exactly.
part.
And they'll point to here at the bottom of the slide here, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. We do not expect customers to, just turn off their electricity and be in the dark from 3 to 7, right? That's certainly not what we're trying to do. It's really focusing on maybe some of those bigger energy uses that could be shifted to these off-peak periods. And as I said, just simple things like pre-cooling your home,
Hmm.
program your pool pump, right, to run during off-peak hours. I think
Yeah.
most customers want to run their pool pump 8 hours a day or whatever it might be. Does it matter that it's on between 3 and 7, or can it be on, from 11 to 3 and then 7 to 11? You're still getting the 8 hours in, et cetera. But that's again another opportunity where many pool pumps you're able to program them, right? You have a programmable timer such
Yeah.
that keep it on and off. So, and certainly charging electric vehicles on the overnight. That's the time customers aren't using, right? People aren't
Right.
driving from midnight to 7 a.m. or wherever it might be. So we have a 3 period rate, which is a little different than our standard time of day rate, where those hours are even less expensive to encourage people with EVs to plug it, take advantage of that. Don't charge it during the high peak times, right?
Yeah, definitely good tip. So one of our attendees asked, um, how is solar panel energy collected and applied to the bill, including peak hour charges?
Yeah, so solar power, right? So your usage, during a particular hour is net of what you use and what you produce, right? So if you are producing power during a peak time and you're using that as opposed to taking power from the grid, right? You'll see that natural decrease anyway, right? You only
Hmm.
pay for what you use. We know that most customers on Long Island, the way that their units are sized throughout the year, they don't overproduce. The vast majority of customers produce at or below what they need day in, day out. But any customers who do overproduce, there is a bank of I guess credit that accrues in terms of the extra energy that was produced, and customers have the ability to go in and shift some of that into it's somewhat of a little bit of a manual process, but they can go in and they can shift some of that overage to other peak and off-peak periods and apply that towards their bill.
Oh, good to know. I have solar. I'll have to take a closer look.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so that was all really helpful. We've talked about understanding energy use and managing costs. Let's talk about reliability now.
Okay. So reliability, again, certainly one of our
I
topics as well.
think it's the next slide.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
So
And you'll dive in? Yeah,
I
perfect.
will, yeah. So as mentioned earlier, right, we know that customers rely on us day in and day out, right? We are such a big part of our customers' lives. We're an essential service, right? Customers count on us for everything from cooking to heating to lighting to running. In certain cases, people rely on us if they have certain healthcare equipment that they need to run. So we understand the importance. We understand what we do, what we mean, and this continues to grow, right? Electricity is such a big part of everyone's life. So we do put a lot of emphasis on reliability. I will say, we are very proud with that to be ranked as the #1 New York State most reliable overhead electric service provider. We are the fastest at restoring power in New
Yeah.
York State. And even when you look across the country, we are amongst the top electric companies in these two areas, both in the lowest frequency of outages and the quickest restoration in time. So we recognize, right, there will be outages, and it happens, right? There's many things that cause them. Some of them as simple as tree contact, right? Trees
Hmm.
cause outages. We've got a lot of trees on Long Island. But we do spend a lot of time, and part of our reliability programs is addressing that, right? Addressing that before the outage comes. We trim over 2,500 miles a year. Where you'll see us out there. I know, but cutting back tree branches that would either impact the lines or make contact with the lines, or in a lot of cases, old dead or decaying trees that might fall onto the power lines, and when they do, they take out power. So that's certainly a big part of what we do. One of the main reliability programs, because tree caused outages are so big on Long Island. We've also spent a lot of time on upgrading our system, right? Using stronger poles, setting them deeper in the earth, right? To protect against winds and some of the other impactful weather that we have, right? And some of the weather that seems to be getting worse, right, year in, year out. We do a lot of work from a technology perspective, installing switches across our system. So it allows us that when outages do occur, we can sort of work our switches remotely, turning them on, opening, closing switches, and really mitigating that outage or bringing it down to fewer customers that are actually affected by where that outage is. So we've got the ability to open and close switches, backfeed from other circuits, and so on. But what it does is, as I said, it minimizes the number of customers affected, and it increases or the restoration time. So a big piece of what we've done, just see here, we've installed nearly 900 of these smart switches over the past years, right? And a lot of this has been based on, technology, lessons learned from past storms, and by doing so, it not only makes us stronger during storms, but during blue sky days. And I think our last weekend, right? The last weekend we had that snowstorm. In case in point, we had very few outages, even with with the weather. I think
Someone on the chat just said we lost power 2 weeks ago on a Saturday morning and it was back very quickly. Thank you. So yeah, you guys are on
happy
top
to
of
hear
it.
that. Yeah, and it says sometimes these outages are out of our control, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, automobile accidents, people drive into poles. I know last week during the snowstorm, a couple of our bigger outages were caused by snowplows hitting poles and things of that
Oh,
sort.
wow. Yeah.
So yeah, I know people, you don't always understand why your power's out, especially on a blue sky day. Well, I don't understand this, but there are just different things
We've
that
had a
happen.
few fires in the neighborhood that have caused issues too, but yeah, it's
Different things,
yeah,
right? So
different
certainly
things every
animal
time.
contact, right? Squirrels up on the poles can cause outages. We do put animal protection and animal guards up there, but that often causes outages. So let's say the good news is we're very focused on continuing to fortify and strengthen the system. And when your outage does, I think on average, the average customer on Long Island loses power. I think it's once every 14 to 16 months. So it's fairly infrequent. And
Yeah.
when they do have outages, I think the average outage time is 45 or 50 minutes. So quick restoration time. Again, it's not making an excuse. We do understand it's never comfortable. It's an inconvenience when you're out of power, but we do everything we can to not only prevent that outage, get the power back, and then communicate with our customers so they understand what's happening during that outage
Yeah.
and can
It-
make whatever
it-
changes necessary or take whatever actions.
yeah. I especially appreciate the investment in like tree removal. I would have not thought that PSEG Long Island, has an active group that's doing that, and trimming the trees and everything. And I think that it's all maintenance really, to make sure that service continues.
Yep, we understand it's always sometimes it's not the most popular thing we do, right? Because
Right.
customers like to see
Controversial at
us
times.
cutting and trimming trees, but it's a reality that we need to do. Long Island is very heavily treed. In many cases, we've got our wires that run through customers' backyards,
Mhm.
and so we need to do this trimming, or otherwise, they're going to cause outages.
But then you have those Arbor Day give back days where you
We
guys give
do.
out trees.
That's a
So
great point,
there
right?
you
So we
go.
do try to give back and encourage our customers that when they do plant trees near our facilities to plant, lower growing trees that don't make their way up into the power
Right.
line. So certainly
Yeah, you
yes.
guys have a good little diagram on the site when you get one of those trees to figure out on your property where it should go based on the electrical lines. So yeah, it's a handy. And I look forward to Arbor Day even more now.
We'll put a tree aside for you.
So let's talk about customer service. There is a specific question about what number someone should call, so I'll hit that after this one. But yeah, let's oh wait, I skipped a slide. I'm sorry. So yeah, let's go over these highlights of your service first.
Okay, so this again is just following up on some of the reliability work that we've done. So since 2015, right, PSEG Long Island has really, as I said, focused on reliability. And if you take a look at what we've been able to achieve, we've had a 47% decrease in the duration of outages. So certainly, when they happen, they're getting restored a lot quicker. Some of it's technology, some of it is just the efficiency of our crews. We've had a 65% decrease in momentary interruptions. We know customers don't like momentaries, even if they're out for a short time, right? And momentaries are defined as something that's less than 5 minutes. We've had a 65% decrease in those, and that's really focusing on, those parts of the systems where we've seen, more frequent momentaries and putting technology and tree trim and other things in place to decrease that. A 26% decrease in the frequency of outages. So customers, the length of time between outages has increased. And then a 52% decrease in customers experiencing a sustained outage annually. So all just, we manage and we monitor these metrics day in, day out. We live and die by them, and we continue to work on ways to, be more reliable.
Yeah, great. Impressive metrics, but only getting better with modernization, technology, and full team effort on the grounds. So, customer service, as we've mentioned a few times, plays a major role in how customers experience their utility, and PSEG Long Island has proved their commitment, particularly given all the access points for customer service. So, why don't we run through some of the ways that customer service does interact with the customers, and then we'll show the numbers that are really valuable and, the access points too online.
Go to the next slide. So,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, PSEG Long Island, we're very dedicated to providing good customer service, enhancing the customer experience. When they do need to interact with us, we want that to be, as easy, as enjoyable as possible. So there are various ways that customers can interact and conduct business with us. Certainly, we've got a well-staffed call center that customers can contact if they want to speak to a representative, whether it's a billing issue, whether it has to do with bill payment or outages, et cetera, right? Certainly, customers have the ability to do that. We also have many digital channels, and what we've seen over time is customers, they've become more, I guess, focused or more open to or looking to deal with us digitally. So we've seen a lot more ability to communicate, whether it's through our app, whether it's through text. We do see during storms now, I think about 70% of our outages are reported through texting, which is great, right? Customers can go onto the app, they text the word out, and we know that they're out. They don't need to call and talk to a call representative. And then they can also check the status of an outage through their app. They can just check stat or text stat, and they will get back the latest information we have relative to restoration time or what we know about that particular outage. So encourage our customers to look at that. You do need to do a little pre-registration so that you can use the app, but it's worthwhile spending a couple minutes before the storm. And then what we'll do is, prior to any time we expect bad weather that could lead to sustained outages, we will text our customers, and it will bring this to the top of their their text box. And then if you do go out, you have that text right there, and you can just go in and, as I said, text out, stat, get timely updates, report your outage, right?
Yeah, I've had an outage, in the middle of the night and didn't even realize until I received the text from PSEG Long Island. So
Yes, and
yes, you guys are really on top of the text messages, and good to know that it's not just outbound to us, but inbound. We can, we can arrange to text direct as well.
As I mentioned, you can even pay your bill by text now. So there's a lot you can do through
Hey.
text, a lot you can do through our website. As I mentioned, a lot of information, updates, anything you see on our outage map, it's all consistent. So whether you speak to a rep, whether you go through text, whether you go through our website or a mobile app, it's all the same information. So from a consistency perspective, customers can, choose the way they want to interact, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy, right? You just open up your app if you can, and you can go right in and get that information at your fingertips without having to make the phone call or search for the phone number or whatever it might be.
That's great. Let's show those contact numbers and websites now. We'll have it later on too, but I just like to skip ahead while we're talking about this. So yeah, to report an outage, customer services right here, Business Solutions Center, the email, the website rather, and the email addresses are at that address. And then for Spanish, you can call that number. There was one question in the chat that maybe you could help with. Which of these numbers might be most, or access points might be best for that tip you gave earlier about manually moving solar energy to peak hours? Where should they call, do you think? The
So I
customer
think
service?
I mean, certainly they could call customer service. I do, though, encourage them to, if you visit our website, There's some information on there that can probably direct you a little more towards somebody that can help in that space.
Yeah,
But otherwise, certainly you can come through customer service and they will help get you to the right person or give you the right contact information to have that conversation.
great.
And
We
and a
still,
lot of
oh
this
yeah,
is,
go
is
ahead.
available, as I said, on the website. If you go there and you search on it, right, there's information that talks to some of the strategies and some of the things you can do.
Okay, great. And let's hit that slide just prior to this. I just want to make sure to show those. So here for Long Island and the Rockaways, the next slide. Great.
Yeah, so this is just an example of some of the things that we do. As I mentioned, we are very focused on working and giving back to the communities we serve. And we've got various programs and initiatives that we do throughout the year. As I mentioned, we have 2,500 employees who are very engaged in, being active and being visible in the community. We have a senior connections program. So this is something that we've recently started up in the past year or so, where really focus on our senior population on Long Island and getting out in front of them and giving them an opportunity to meet with us, learn about our programs, ask questions and such. And you see here, we've had sessions at libraries, YMCA's, community centers, and so on and so forth, all across the island and the Rockaways. And it's
Yeah.
really proven to be, I think, a welcomed program based on the feedback that we're receiving from those folks that take advantage of this.
Yeah, we have a PSEG Long Island table at most all of our senior health expos, and we have 10 of them this year. So, if you see those in the papers, you attend those, and then you can meet the team firsthand as well.
We certainly appreciate the partnership and being able to work with you and be present at those events as well.
Yeah.
So another great venue for customers to learn about different things.
Yeah.
Uh, some of the things just talk about here. I mentioned earlier, right? A lot of focus on providing visibility, transparency to information. So whether it's trusted information on storm preparedness, scam prevention, electric safety, you started off with good tips on electric safety, energy efficiency, financial assistance. Again, we love to communicate with our customers, and we constantly look for different ways to make sure we're getting that information out there, whether it's through a bill insert or, through a TV ad, a commercial, a website. We're very active on social media as well, try to get the word out, but really want to work with our customers to give them access to information that can, make their lives easier. We do partner with many local organizations, as you mentioned yourself, and others across the island. Many things we get involved with, whether it's giving out turkeys, with Fall Leaf Credit Union on Thanksgiving time, or working with the Red Cross, and so on and so forth. There's many organizations. And there's one down here you'll see we work very closely with Island Harvest on a Power to Feed campaign. We know that food insecurity is a big issue on Long Island. So we have events throughout the year where we work very closely with Island Harvest to help fill food pantries across Long Island, and use that as an opportunity while we're out there, not only to collect food and give back to the community, but to share information about programs and services that we offer that customers can take advantage of.
Yeah. Thank you for that investment in the community. It goes a long way. So I think we're nearing the end of this. It's been so informative. If participants remember just one thing from today's session, what do you think they should jump into first?
So one thing, one I'd like to say is, look, we're here to help our customers on Long Island, right? We want to be a partner with our customers. We want them to take advantage of, some of the programs and services we offer. And we also want them to trust that they can reach out to us to have those conversations, and, all for the benefit of both us and the customers we serve.
Great. And what kind of feedback do you hear most, from these types of outreach efforts, mostly in the community, especially?
I think that they go a long way. I think customers are appreciative when we're out there, right? Giving back to the community, or, finding ways to interact with the customers, right? So all positive. As I said, I think our employees appreciate it as well. They thoroughly enjoy being out there with our customers.
Yeah.
And if nothing more, it does give us a chance to, again, interact and provide information that's helpful for the customers we serve.
Yeah. There is really a commitment, day in and day out. Well, thank you. I mean, that was so great. I think we should go to the questions. and hear from our attendees. All right, let me look through. I have some on the side written down. Give me a minute. So let's see. This is a good one. I think you did, emphasize how simple it is, but is my energy difficult to use if I'm not very tech savvy?
I think, we certainly have taken a lot of time to try to put together an app, a mobile app that is easy to use, right? Where customers, it's very intuitive. Encourage folks to experiment with it, whether you download the app, whether you go to our website, but there are very easy to use tools that where you can see how your energy, and a lot of it is, it'll just pop up and say, okay, this is where your biggest energy uses are. The bill comparison tools, the rate comparison tools are very easy. You'll see them front and center when you log on. But I think customers will have a good experience if they try to use the app, even if they are not as tech savvy. And certainly, if you run into issues, more than happy to reach out, through our customer service center, and we can provide some assistance.
That's great. How do I schedule my first free assessment?
So I would encourage you to visit our website, and you can go through. There's a section on there that talks about home energy analyses, and in there are various ways that you can move forward with scheduling that time, whether it's clicking on a link or a phone number. But I would say take a look there, and you'll find all the information you need to schedule that.
Great. Yeah, why don't we put the customer service numbers on there too, and we'll go through a few. How does PSEG Long Island know how my energy is being used from heating to lighting? That's an
Yeah,
interesting question.
yeah, it is. It's interesting, and a lot of this has to do with just the way technology is changing. So, as I mentioned, we have the automated meter reading solution that's in place at customer homes. It provides us, as I said, energy use in 15-minute increments. And we have algorithms that, based on the signature patterns, right, of different appliances, we can disaggregate that bill and say, okay, we know that this is refrigeration because this is the way that
Mm,
it only operates, or we know this is lighting or pool pumps and such. So we're able to pretty reliably get an assessment of based on the usage pattern that we see coming from the customer, relate it back to the appliances or the equipment that's in their home and show them how much is cooling, how much is lighting, how much is heating, et cetera. And we do at times, customers, they will provide input. So we will get that input directly from the customer as to, okay, what do you have in your home, right? And then that gets matched
oh,
together.
okay. Yes. Yeah.
But we can do it intuitively as well. But, if we do have some of that stuff, it does help. And that's part of the, sometimes part of the audit process or home energy analysis process.
Great. And let's see. Let's go over this one. Are there any financial assistance programs and payment plan options? You did touch on that, but I think that's a good point of emphasis.
There are a host of programs that are available for our customers. Again, many of them are income-based. So whether it is payment plans that we'll work with, whether it's bill credits that we're able to offer through one of our programs, we'll also work with our customers to put them in contact with other services that are available outside of PSEG Long Island proper. We work very closely with United Way on Project Warmth, where
Mhm.
customers can get credits towards their bills for fuel, whether it's electric, oil, or gas, right? We'll put them in touch with that. Other services that are available, we will, as I said, in cases we can work with customers who are payment troubled on payment plans to try to get them back on track. We do provide, as I mentioned, many rebate programs, and in certain cases, the rebates are structured to maybe a little more have a little more money for some of those some of those lower income, communities and families and such. So a lot of programs are available. Again, there's a listing of them on our website that customers can get some more information about what might be applicable to them.
Great. I think, do you know that someone's just wondering, How it says why are and PSEG payments due the same date every month? I imagine there's a certain cadence. Do you know how often people get
Yeah,
billed
so we
offhand?
run, and when you think about it, we have 1.3 million customers, right? So the intent is not to process 1.3 million, bills
Ah, yeah.
same day each month, right? So I I really think, the way that a lot of this started, probably historically, if you think about it, before we had AMI, we had meter readers, right? We had 150, 160 meter readers that were out there reading meters day in and day out. And obviously, it would take the better part of the month for them to get to every customer.
Okay.
So
So there's a little
with that,
variance there,
billing
but
cycles are put in
presumably every
place.
30 days or so, I imagine, right?
Sure, right, yes, roughly. So, and so that I think that's the real reason how it started, but just from a pure volume perspective, when you have so many customers, right, it levels it out. And this way we don't have, if you think about it, even from a service perspective, if customers have questions when they get their bills, you don't want everybody calling in the same day, right? So this
That's right. Yeah.
evens it out and so on.
And I caught that you mentioned almost everyone at PSEG Long Island that works there is majority are residents here. And so, if you're calling in, someone asked a question, if you're calling in, are the people that they're calling familiar with the areas that they're talking about?
Absolutely. We don't, our call center is all based on Long Island. We don't
Right.
outsource that. It's all Long Islanders, right? And one of the key things when you think about it, right, we need to be local, especially during storms. We take on a secondary role. Everybody has a storm role in addition to their blue sky day, right? So we want our people here. We want them close by. They've got to come in, under these extreme conditions. And many cases will find themselves doing something entirely different than they do day in and day out. But that's the importance of having people here, people who know the customers, know what customers want, and know the geography and know Long Island, right?
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, I think that's it. Lou, you have anything else to add?
No, as I said, I appreciate the time this morning. The more we can do to
Yeah.
get our message out there, I think, the better we can help our customers. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined us. This webinar was recorded. So if, you'll receive a follow-up email with links and resources sent shortly. And we're just so thankful for PSEG Long Island's partnership, not only today in these webinars, but also as a part of powerful local initiatives like our Long Island Choice Awards. And I should say that voting is open now for the top 5 of your favorite businesses across over 250 categories. So visit longislandchoiceawards.com, lichoiceawards.com to cast your votes. We appreciate your time, Lou, everyone's time who attended, and we hope to leave you today feeling a little bit more confident about how to manage your energy costs and use. So thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully you won't get hit by too much snow this time, but thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Maureen. Appreciate the time.
Take
Thanks, everyone.
care. Bye-bye.